Yes. Yes. Come on, everyone. It's Friday. And stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch.
More caffeine, please.
And stretch, and caffeine, and caffeine, and caffeine, and caffeine, and caffeine. Oh, yeah.
I think I've just died inside.
Hey, everybody. It's Friday. It's us. We're back.
Some of us may not be returning.
How's your week been, Odessa?
Busy, yeah. Very busy, very positive, but very, very, very busy.
Same here.
I counted up that I've had. Not including the ones I've got today. I think I've had about 16 calls.
Wow. 16 calls.
Yeah, I think there's one I haven't yet scheduled. Yeah, hi Stephen. There's one that I haven't yet scheduled that might make it 17 or above.
It's my new lightsabers. That's a lot of calls in a week, isn't it?
I think
that must mean that we're getting lots of new business, which is great.
Or I'm just really good at talking to people and networking is my thing.
Hey, look at that, Stephen, Mr. Motivator. Yeah, you liked a bit of that, didn't you? Good morning. Hello, both. Yay. Nice to meet you too, Dilois. Yeah.
How was your week? Hang on. How was your week? Talk about my week. How was your week?
Well, you know, because we speak every day.
Well, I know, but so why have you asked me about mine? You've got to tell the people about your week. What did you do this week?
Well, I did a lot of work as well. I actually did a massive webinar towards the beginning of the week. Hi, Stephen. Nice to see you. To see you nice. Yeah, did a massive webinar at the beginning of the week.
What are you on today?
And then obviously we had our Chinwag event, our little get together of people on LinkedIn yesterday. So lots to organise this week, lots of writing, lots of content produced, lots of great stuff. And yeah, we are getting very, very busy, which must mean we're doing something right.
We've got to stop saying we're getting busy. I think we were always busy, but now we're on just like the next level of busy.
Next level. Yeah. We're now talking to other people about joining us, which is
so scary.
Getting scary. Hi, Harish. You guys are very energized and energizing. Yeah, well, of course we are. It's Friday.
I've had a triple shot Friday, Starbucks, James. To be fair, so
really,
yeah, I love a triple shot.
I've actually had some caffeine this morning.
I knew it. I knew that's why you were hyper.
Of course, I've had one cup of tea with caffeine in. Yes, I made a mistake over Christmas. Actually, I had a really strong.
Tom Sarson! Hi, Tom. It is the Odessa effect.
It is.
Poor Tom's been subject to me in the office before, so he knows.
Right. You know, I had a mocha over Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, that was ages ago.
But they made it very, very strong. They put a lot of coffee in it, and I was like, my word, I am.
Because you cut out coffee, didn't you?
I've cut out coffee. I can have the occasional mocha. But other than that,
chocolate obviously already has caffeine in it as well, so it's still not actually particularly helpful.
No, I have to be really careful with caffeine. I have to not drink too much of it. Hey, let's not go down quickly. Let's get back and motivated again. That's what I want to see. I just love that motivated. Let's do it again. Here we go.
No, let's not.
2. No. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, please stop.
No. She's going to go and do that.
I'll leave you to it. Right. No, stop.
Stephen, you'd like to come on and do this, wouldn't you? 1, 2, 3, and...
If anyone would like to have a replacement spot on this show, feel free and I'll swap out.
Get everything pumping. That's brilliant. Oh, do you remember?
Right, I'm never letting you have caffeine again. You obviously can't be trusted.
Did you ever watch Mr. Motivated?
Yeah, my mum was a fan.
Really? Mm. Oh, right.
I don't think there's a workout video that my mum didn't attempt, to be fair.
Oh.
She was a big exercise at home individual. Yes.
I'm old enough to remember the Green Goddess. Does anyone else remember the Green Goddess from TV as well? Yeah. Or Angela Rippon used to do, the newsreader
If there was tumbleweed, I feel like now would be the time.
She used to do workout records, workout LPs. Used to put them on.
Slipping into something.
Play them in the background. That's before even.
We're showing our age difference here, aren't we? We're showing the age difference between us, the chasm of time.
I belong back in the dark ages, the recess. Now, we had something quite dreadful happen to us yesterday. Not you and me, but us as a family. And I just want people's take on it. My son arrived home from school, and his brand new coat, which he had from us at Christmas, was covered. Yeah, back in the 70s.
We're just taking it all the way back to the land that time forgot.
Yeah, his coat was covered with ink, which had been put there by a young whippersnapper at school.
Gosh.
There's a 70s statement. Who was running around
that's
the
not
school.
70s. That's like 1700s, mate.
Oh, right. Running around the school, causing havoc and just attacking people with ink.
Yeah.
Now, what would you do in that situation? Fortunately, we've managed to get the ink out. Just to.
My kids have always been drawn on.
Yeah, but this is
so that's property. One thing. Okay, all right. Just take a breath. Okay, just calm down. Okay. I didn't say you could breathe out again. No, I mean they're always getting pen on their clothes, so that's sort of a given. But I think the deliberateness and quantity of the ink is more vandalism, more destruction of personal property than anything else. And in which case, I think that's slightly more serious action. But it did wash out, so you know.
Yeah, we can thank hairspray. So this is a little tip for you folks. If it's the right kind of pen, don't put washing up liquid on it. No, put hairspray on it first. It helps to lift the ink off of the surface that it's absorbed into, and then you put it in the washing machine and it comes out.
Okay. Did we Google this to find this fact out?
I think we already knew it.
Oh, do you actually, in fact, mean your other half?
Yes. I have no idea how these things work. Absolutely no idea. And I don't want to promote any particular brand on this on this show, but a certain Rug Doctor spray is also used a lot in our house, and it gets pretty much most things out. Their stain lifter is really good. Other stain lifters are available. But we do use that particular one. It's really good. So there you go. Has anyone else had anything particularly traumatic happen to them this week? Perhaps you'd
Why does it have to be traumatic? Why can't we do a Friday celebration?
Okay, or something that's been wonderful.
Let's be more positive. Let's just be more positive, shall we?
Come on. Hey.
What?
Hang on. Some of us started with things absolutely positive.
No, you didn't.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, no.
We did.
You actually make me die inside.
Uh-huh.
If you were looking for cringy, you have in fact landed in the right place. I'm going through the 7 stages of grief here.
You know what this is? This is boys with their toys. That's what that is. Is there an option to mute you? Oh yeah, look, I can mute you. and on that note, Graham has been removed from the podcast. Should never give me control. In a vain attempt to unmute, you have muted yourself. Oh, you won the quiz, did you, Stephen? Oh, yes, Stephen did win the quiz.
It.
Stephen did win the quiz.
We've lost our ability to speak English as well.
Yes, he did. Well done. Is he drunk?
He's definitely something.
I'm definitely not drunk. I'm still on.
He doesn't behave like this with you, Stephen, does he? Because I feel like this kind of repeated destructive behaviour, it cannot be allowed on live shows. Okay, it's too much.
I think Stephen has had his fair share of me, actually, to be honest.
Stephen, there is a support line available. I believe that we're setting up a group. It will start with you and me, but I can imagine it growing as this continues. Co-hosts of Cove.
Co-hosts of Cove. If you've been seriously affected by working with Graham Cove, then call this hotline number 0800 615 615.
Please do a ticker tape, and I imagine it will get loads of comments. Morning, Ashley.
Oh, there you go. Morning, kids. Lovely. Yeah, I'll do it. Hotline number. Oh, no, what do you call it? Action line number, isn't it? When it's something like that.
I don't know, but people need help, and they need it now.
You've got to keep talking. If you want me to type, you've got to keep talking. That's the way this works.
I was just enjoying a bit of peace and quiet for a second. And I'm a loud person, so if I say that, setting up a WhatsApp group, I'm so on this. What? No, he's not being a bully. He's had too much caffeine this morning because he's had some caffeine, and some caffeine is clearly too much. And he's been a distracting force. He's been quite needy.
Bully's a very strong word there, Ashley. Very strong word.
And it's probably not the right one, but it's along the right lines.
I can't see how it can be a bully if you're making somebody laugh. I don't think that's not bullying. That's,
laughing through the pain, through the tears.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've missed some really cheesy.
That's the Dionne Warwick effect.
Music. What?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he would love that. What Ashley would really like is if I sang a song with my guitar. That's what Ashley would really like, because he comes on and does that. I've seen him do it. From time to time.
Some talent is required. Oh, nice to see you, Stephen. Sorry you have to leave.
What? Are you saying Ashley's got no talent? No. What?
No.
You bully?
No. Not what I was saying at all, was it?
Well, I don't know.
Let's just say some of us are practicing, aren't we, Ashley? And some of us are not practicing, aren't we, Graham?
I practiced yesterday, didn't I? Don't
did.
Take that away from
me.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, how did Keen go? We definitely were struggling to find the right pitch.
Keen needs a bit of work, but American Pie was great.
Yeah, no, definitely was. We even got a bit of Blunty in there, didn't we? Which is notoriously difficult for the male vocals. So
I managed that. Yeah, I did.
Sounds did come out.
I thought it sounded just like him.
If you squint and tilt your head to the side and block up your eardrums with cotton wool, maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
Do you know what? If people do in fact call that number, we're in big trouble.
Well, that number is just made up.
Well, you don't know. Did you check first? You did not do your thorough research.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely.
Mortgage helpline is suddenly inundated with traumatized co-hosts.
Good day. Oh dear. Yeah, have a good weekend to you, Stephen.
We've already done that.
He's got to go and do some work. Well, I don't know that. I was busy typing away in the background.
Yeah.
What are you drinking today anyway?
I've drunk everything. I had a Starbucks.
You've drunk everything?
Yeah, and I also had one of my deliciously disgusting smoothies, which the glass is just getting bigger, which is actually making me sadder. I'm supposed to be working. I'm going to have to join Stephen. Hang on a second. What do you mean you're joining Stephen? You can have a good weekend.
I'm going to join Stephen. Sorry, you just put... Oh, right. He's off. He's off. He's leaving us. So we made it Friday, vocals. I did the sound check.
Who's LinkedIn user?
Yeah, LinkedIn user. I really need to know.
Please make yourself known. We love you, and you might be the only person watching now.
That is fantastic, LinkedIn user. You did an actual sound check with Poison.
That is exciting.
Every rose has
Please don't.
That's what they sang. That is what they sang. That was brilliant.
Well, let's talk music, because that is your favourite subject, and maybe we'll just get a little bit more of your focus back. What are you listening to this week? What albums have you been enjoying? Oh no, don't do that. Why do you do that to me?
What albums have I been enjoying this week? I've been listening to. Hey Shane, nice to see you. I've been listening to. Last night I listened to the new Jethro Tull album, which only just came out.
Yeah.
I think its official launch day is today, actually.
Is
New
it?
Music Friday. Doom, 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 doom.
No, please stop.
Called the Zealot Gene. That's really good. That's
I
their
have started
first.
listening to it.
Yeah, it's their first studio album in 20 years.
Oh, interesting. That is
Yeah.
quite interesting.
So that was good. And you started listening to it, and then you sort of caught up with their 1968 live. Just to prove that they have been going for.
Well, no, I don't normally like live albums, because like if it's what bands that you know really well, like Genesis and whatever, where I've listened and I've grown up listening to that music, you know how the songs play out. So sometimes when they mess about with it, it really throws you, because you kind of just want to sing along, or you enjoy the nostalgia of listening to it. But actually with a band that I've not really listened to, because I've listened to it because obviously we work together and I don't really have a choice. If you're listening to it, I'm listening to it. But with no expectations, you can kind of actually just enjoy it a little bit more. And I haven't actually I've been to one concert in my entire 30-year existence, which is just pitiful. And you kind of feel the atmosphere a bit more when you're not focusing so much on the lyrics, because obviously you don't know them, so you can't sing along, so you can just enjoy the atmosphere. So it was actually and I started off my morning with it as well, which is a nice way to wake up.
Yeah. You mentioned Genesis though, but you like Seconds Out.
Seconds Out is an amazing album.
You see, there you go.
Amazing album for many reasons, but there's a lot of live music on that. But then that's the album I grew up listening to. So actually, a lot of the Genesis songs are played as live, are the ones that I've listened to. So I kind of get it.
Did you?
Are you going to ask? Oh, go on. I thought you were going to ask the controversial question.
As someone that likes Genesis, did it used to wind you up slightly when Richard Hammond got so offended by his fellow presenters when they played?
Anyone who gets wound up by classical music like that winds me up. When it's there are certain things at the butt of every joke, and if you could if you've got that sense of humor or whatever, you don't mind. But there are certain things like that where people take the mick out of really quintessentially cultural bands, and it does wind me up. It does aggravate me when they've got something negative to say, because then they kind of ignore how pivotal that album was in the string of time, and how so many bands now feed off musicians like that and have developed their style based on listening to those albums. Whether they liked it or not, they still use that as part of their influence. So jokes about music aren't jokes about music, they're jokes about culture.
The thing is that growing up, Genesis always had that. I mean, that they had Spitting Image puppets. They used to appear quite regularly on Spitting Image. I mean, the thing is, as a band, what they did quite successfully was they turned that round on Spitting Image. You remember they actually had the Spitting Image puppets of themselves in one of their videos from the Invisible Touch album.
Yeah.
And I think that's
which is a really good album. It's a really good album.
Really good album. Favorite song on that album?
I don't know. Not without the album in front of me. Can't tell you.
Domino? Maybe? No? Or Invisible Touch? The lead single?
I mean, that is a brilliant song. I'm going to have to get it up in front of me now.
She seems to have an invisible touch.
Oh, don't start talking through the lyrics. That's the worst thing that anyone can do with music.
There we go.
My sister used to do that to me all the time, and I hated her for it.
It's when you can feed that.
Land of Confusion is the one with the puppets, isn't it?
That's a Land of Confusion. So this is the world we live in.
No, don't start singing.
That one.
Although that is more your vocal range than some of the other ones you've tried.
Yeah, absolutely. So we. Yeah.
Too Deep's a good song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take it down to a slower way of life.
So was
Throwing It All Away is a good one too. Yeah, carry on.
Now, we had a great conversation at our network.
We had many great conversations
yesterday. Network, yes, but this is the conversation of conversations. You can remember last week, Claire was challenged to put the lyrics to Lionel Richie's Dancing on the Ceiling into her tagline. on her LinkedIn profile into her headline. And she did that. Well, Claire was again in one of our groups yesterday in the breakout room at the event. And we discussed and decided as a group, and Rory Berry was very instrumental in this, that actually one of the things that we ought to do is we, amongst a group of us, we need to get the lyrics to Hello by Lionel Richie,
which is another classic song, which is also the butt of so many jokes,
into a number of people's headlines on LinkedIn. And then Rory will do a post at the end of it to draw people's attention to the fact that actually all of these people...
He's back.
He's back. Well done. Are you, Stephen, are you back for good?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Please don't.
It's like, oh, no, he's going to start with a bit of take that. No, I'm not going to do that.
Please
So, yeah. So if anyone else is up for getting a little bit of Lionel Richie into their headline on LinkedIn, do let us know, because we'll
send you a line.
Yeah. I really want to take the line because my arms are open wide.
Just see how many complaints come into
Because
LinkedIn.
my arms are open wide. Yeah, I just think, yeah. Which line would you take, Odessa? Oh, actually, I bet you anything you like, you wouldn't put that into your headline on LinkedIn, Stephen. Imagine what the powers that be would say if you put "Don't go breaking my heart,"
Graham.
Graham in. That's your headline. Oh my word!
Let's do it for an hour and send us a screenshot. Could even be for an hour. What line would I take?
Just to remember, everybody, your action line number, if you've been affected by working with Graham Cove, is there. Yeah. Which line would you take?
Are you somewhere feeling lonely, or is someone loving you?
Yes.
That's a good one.
It is, and that would suit you down to a T, wouldn't it?
Thanks. Although I'd get some pretty horrendous messages as a result of it. Although, interestingly, did you see Lawrence Fishman's? I know I've gone on about it about 6 times over the course of the week, but Lawrence did a wonderful post this week where he's heavily filtered his face to look like a woman, which was a very confusing moment for us all because he actually looks really good. But the amount of comments he got from people who clearly didn't check to see if it was a man's account was staggering. And I came to the realization that ever since I cut my hair, I've stopped getting those kind of messages. So if you are a long-haired woman or a long-haired man, no judgment, cut your hair and no one cares anymore about you.
What? Hang on. So I'm confused by what you're saying now. I thought you said... Yes, because I thought you said there for a minute that you're still getting those messages, even though
occasionally I do. But what I'm saying is that
not as much.
The volume and actually the messages I'm getting now from people who have actually met me. Now I'm not getting so many randoms, which I don't know if that's worse or better. I feel like it's worse. Okay. They dramatically reduced when I cut my hair.
Okay.
And mostly disappeared. Because what I was getting is people actually taking my email address from my work email and emailing me declarations of love and marriage proposals.
And can we just clarify?
Selfies. Yeah.
Can we just clarify? Because if you're tying it back into Lawrence's post, you're not getting more declarations from women now. No.
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying. Is that
exactly?
Did that need clarification?
No, I did just throw away the work to be done. Absolutely.
Hi, Ray. Nice to see you again.
It's Friday. Let's throw away the work that needs to be done for the rest of the week.
It's important just to relax sometimes.
Ray's name is quite interesting.
Okay.
Because his name is Ray Black.
Yeah.
And Ray may not know this or may know this, but China Crisis used to have a song which was Black Man Ray.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying. I don't know whether Ray's ever heard that song. Maybe his name reminded me of that song.
Okay. Well, that was a nice nostalgic moment. I'm not really sure where
It
to go from
It
there.
was lovely. They were a great band.
Now, I know that we
Giants.
haven't, just moving on, I know that we haven't got our good pigeon detective with us today. It is a lot quieter, if you hadn't noticed. But do we have an update on the pigeons out your window?
Yes.
Do you like me to say it slowly?
No. Let me just do it properly.
Okay.
I've got to be really careful with what I say here now.
Yeah, please don't go.
There are no pigeons out of the window. However, there are birds of a different kind nesting in the immediate tree, the smaller one that is still standing outside the window.
Okay.
These birds are of the tit variety.
That's why you had to be careful. Okay.
That's why I had to be careful.
That was so much build up.
Yes.
For very little.
I know,
birds.
But had I said that there's
no tits outside my window,
it might have, especially as these are actually, looking at them, these are actually great tits.
Rather large ones.
No, that's what these are. Other species.
No. Just don't say anything.
Available.
Just don't say anything.
Oh dear.
What are you doing this weekend, Graham? Because we share a calendar, and it looks like you've got something this evening. But
I haven't got it. No, I haven't got anything.
You've got something booked in. Definitely got something booked in this evening. But what are you doing over the weekend? I've got your calendar in front of me.
I like Ray's comment. Lots of tips. There are. Yeah.
What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? Ironing. As usual. I love the comments actually. Audience numbers going through the roof now. Yeah, as we mentioned birds. Yeah, I get so many comments on LinkedIn actually when I mention that I do ironing. People can't believe.
When have you ever mentioned ironing in volumes enough that people have actually now got a following of ironing fetishes? I'm not entirely sure how we define the kind of. I have had
a lot of offers from the mentioning of doing ironing.
Come press my shirt.
From people that say, yeah, I then get DMs afterwards. Well, they comment on the post and then they come out on DM afterwards. Would you like to come do my ironing? And I'm like, well, actually, no, because I do 7 loads here normally at a weekend. Okay. I really don't have, as much as I love it, and I do love it, I really genuinely love ironing because I get to listen to music while I'm doing it. And to be honest, I kind of go into a kind of ironing coma. I don't really even notice what's happening.
Make it sound like something that's happened in prison.
Yeah,
they beat me into an ironing coma.
I don't really want to do any more.
I gave up on freedom.
The 7 piles of ironing that I actually already have to do. 7 baskets and enough left over to feed 1,000 people.
Or clothe a family for a week.
Yeah. It's almost.
So apart from the very scintillating discussion about your ironing, what else are you doing this weekend?
Nothing.
Nothing
this weekend.
Are you getting out for a dog walk? You just
No. Yeah, no, we'll do a dog walk on a Sunday probably. But apart from that, and feeding the 5,000, etc. Apart from kids, school shirts, polo shirts, ironing died in this house when COVID began. We ain't going
and ironing died completely. Even with that, we just now send the kids, and it looks like they just got out of bed. They're just all sort of crumpled and wrinkled, and that's just life these days.
Yeah,
don't have the time anymore.
I think some people's weekends are overfilled sometimes. I mean, sometimes you do have those weekends where you plan a lot and you do a lot. And lots happens, and you just think sometimes that's too much, especially when you're really busy during the week. If you're really busy during the week and you have,
I like being busy though. I don't like a free weekend.
But everybody needs time to chill.
I mean, that's probably why I'm exhausted 90% of the time. But I can sit for maybe an hour and do some reading, but other than that, I really struggle to switch off. And there's always a dog to be walked for hours. I hate staying inside. But we are seeing some of my husband's family potentially this weekend. We haven't
Ray
seen them for ages.
His ironing only gets done when his girlfriend visits. Ray, get into ironing. It's such a relaxing thing.
I like ironing. The only thing I have with iron is, when you buy a really bad iron and it doesn't actually get the creases out, and then you find yourself ironing that shirt about 6,000 times, and then it still looks like that folded side of a napkin, and then you just give up on that shirt, and it actually ends up looking no better. So my theory is that if you've got like some really heavy like jumpers, or like, for women who've got thicker skirts for winter, just press the shirts in between there, and really crowded wardrobe, and you just lose those wrinkles right away.
Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. One is that. The other thing.
We're going to get into the technicality. I have asked the right person. You've got so many years of experience.
The other thing is, obviously, although with fuel prices going up, you might not want to do this, but if you do put them in the tumble dryer, if you get them straight out of the tumble dryer as soon as they're dry, then a lot of clothes, the creases will fall out. You just need to make sure you get them out and fold them properly straight out.
Yeah, that's not.
But no, for me, ironing, and actually one of the easiest things to iron is a man's shirt. I find a man's shirt really.
I love ironing shirts. I love ironing shirts.
Really easy. Yeah.
I don't like the school polo shirts. I hate ironing them. Ironing nerd, he definitely is something special. I hate ironing the school. I love. That was actually when I used to go to secondary school. We had blue shirts, and I loved ironing the shirts. Love that. I could do that all day long. The rest of it that I hate.
Yeah, the most complicated thing that I have ever ironed or do ever iron. I can't believe
we're really going with it.
Is well, you've asked me, so I'm gonna tell you. Is
whether I like it or not.
Ruffled skirts.
What, have you got a few of those yourself?
No, but my daughter has. But skirts where they've got those multiple layers of ruffles, etc. Because what you have to do is you have to start at the bottom. You have to lift all of the other layers up, do that particular section, and obviously you have to be careful that you're not creating any creases, etc. Then you have to lower the next section on top, do that section. You have to keep turning it round. It's very, very time consuming.
I'm going to have to go and let my dog outside, so you keep talking to the good people.
Okay.
I'll be back in a moment.
Say hi to Red for me. There you go. While she's away, everybody, let's go back and do this. All right. She's going to be so annoyed when she comes back. She's going to be like, "Here we go." All right. Here we go. Right. Hope you're feeling energetic today. Mute in, please. Now, one of the things you can do if you're working at home to avoid static muscle strain is, if you can get yourself a standing desk, do this. Stand up, stand up, stand up. That's right. You can actually stand up to do some work. And that's it. Everybody together. And twist, and twist. You knew it. Oh, dear. Oh.
It was a request, so.
Yeah. Well, while you were away, I was just talking to people about.
No, you weren't. You couldn't be trusted, and I knew you'd go and do something.
Managed to get a lot of people, a lot of extra business on LinkedIn by great marketing.
That was not something that we do for our clients, though. It was not an example or preview of the services we offer. No. We actually do something a little bit more skilled than that.
We do, and it's hard work, and that's why on a Friday. Just need to relax and let it all.
Do you know, it is very mentally tiring. I sat with a client this morning, and we analyse the content that I've written for the week ahead. And
sink back down now. There we go. Back into landing. All right, there we go.
Okay. You need to bring it down a little bit further. We can see the top of your sheet. There you go.
Yep.
And actually, do you know what? Coming up with ideas as consistently for content and trying to be creative is actually really quite mentally exhausting. But thankfully, I do really enjoy it. But it's really hard work.
Yeah.
I love being mentally tired, though. It's the first time in a really long time where I actually feel like I'm using my brain properly, which is lovely. But it can be overwhelming at times.
Yeah, it's something that people ask us quite a lot, which is how do you do it? How do you come up with new ideas day in, day out? And
and day in, day out, just one more time.
There's actually several things to it. One is, I think that certain people are just much better at being creative and taking inspiration from everything that's around them.
Yeah.
There's also an element of research, believe it or not, folks. Yes, we have to do quite a lot of research, especially into...
I'm now a specialist in industries I've never worked in from the amount of reading I've done.
Exactly.
It's fascinating, really.
Yeah, I think you've got to be the kind of person that likes to absorb new information and likes to, cut their teeth on new information on a daily basis. And also you just got to be you just got to want to push the barriers a little bit sometimes as well, push the envelope. So
yeah. And I think it's that whole I think I wrote a post about it last week, whenever not, where I said actually, starting with a piece of content leads to another piece of content, providing that you're engaging with your audience, providing you're looking at those comments, that you're thinking about the people who are responding and trying to work out how that subject would really affect them. And if you actually build that conversation properly, that actually only builds more content. So the easiest thing to do in order to be inspired and to find things to write about is to put a post out there. But we both talk a lot to people, and I certainly have had in my 17 conversations this week, a lot of them have centered around the overcooking of content, the overthought, whereby people think it has to be some sort of, I think I've commented on somebody else's piece. It has to be a Modigliani-esque piece of work to get the kind of audience attraction. And actually, it just has to be easy to connect with. It has to resonate with people. You have to talk about something that's real, that people can understand, and that they might be interested in talking about. And actually, it's been quite good to see that other content creators have been talking about the conversation being the most important part of it. It's not about worrying about the engagement. It's not about worrying about the content. It's about what happens in between those two things, and how important you make that a priority, either to contribute to conversations or to start one. But that should always be your goal at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was making the point this morning on my own post that we also work really hard on strategy with people, and that's really important because it's clear. I mess with people's heads sometimes on my posts, like I did again this morning, because it's very, very clear that some people don't actually read content at all. So you've got to understand how your audience is actually interrelating with that content, because it's not necessarily what you perceive as the way that they're going to read it isn't necessarily the way they are going to read it.
Yeah.
So I wrote a post this morning about Easter eggs, but it wasn't a post about Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
It was actually a post about whether you were getting in front of the right people with your message and with your marketing. But so many people, commented on
and that's because it's Friday, and that's also because actually people want to talk about chocolate. So, but trying to explain that strategy to the client this morning, it's we talk about personal content, and we people always, it is a constant debate as to how personal to be, and is it vulnerable sob stories or is it professionalism, and actually what it is it's that healthy mix of the two. The fundamental point of having a personal account is that it is you and your voice. It's not the company's voice. It has to come from you. Therefore, there'll always be a degree of it being personal, but it has to be human enough that people feel like they're talking to a person they're not going to be sold to, but valuable enough that if you're going to add your expertise into it, they're going to get something out of it, and it identifies you as a thought leader or somebody they can go to in the future. And it's about trying to strike that balance that I find a lot of people really struggle with. And they think it's all about, I don't have ideas for content. I was like, the content will come. Let's talk about what you want to get out of that. What do you want to be the result of that conversation? Are you looking for more people talking about weight loss solutions? Are you want people to talk more about looking at their finances? Whatever it is, you need to decide what you want out of that, and then build the content appropriately and run those conversations. I can't stress it enough. Run those conversations. Actually participate in the ones that you're starting.
Yeah. I think the thing that people really struggle with as well is that as content becomes more personal in order to get more business, is that they think, well, hang on then. Why should I use someone like a marketing agency to write this? Because it's got to be personal. Well, the reality is the reason that you probably need someone to do it is because not everybody has either got the time or the skill set in order to run a personality on a platform.
Yeah,
you actually you have to be that kind of person. Some of my clients really just, they want to get on with their business, and they actually don't want to be present on social media, but they know they have to be present on social media. So they you know, and there's certain bits of it that they just would not do as them. And you could say, oh, okay, so that's not really them being present in front of people. Hey, let's face it, at the end of the day, folks, if you're selling something, you're a salesperson. And salespeople have never, ever, ever been entirely themselves when they're in front of people. They are a construct of part of themselves and partly the sales process that they're involved with. And that's what, you know, people are lying to themselves if they think, oh, I can be 100% authentic all of the time on LinkedIn or any other platform and I'll get sales. Because do you know what? You can't. You can't be 100% authentic, because sometimes I might see someone or what someone said and I think, I don't agree with that. But actually, if I actually said that to them, or if I made comments that were really personal about it, etc., I would probably lose the opportunity to speak to that person. We're all a little bit being careful with our words, depending on the situation. That's always been the case in sales.
Yeah. And I agree and I don't agree. I think it also depends on what you're willing to do with that. Like, a lot of people will say to me, oh, you know, your content's quite personal. You can be quite vulnerable with people. I could never write like that. I could never do that. And they forget that when it becomes part of your strategy, you have to just send that into the world and let it be received however it's going to be received. I guess there's an art to doing it. I don't ever like to assume that I'm particularly skilled in any respect, but you have to stop worrying sometimes how that's going to land. And there's been a lot of talk about, you know, which metrics should we now be taking notice of. You know, we've got clients who talk about, I want page views, but I want reactions and stuff like that. And we all know that actually, given a proportion of how many followers you have, if you look at then how many reactions you get, it's what sometimes less than 10% of your overall audience are ever going to physically click a button to say that they are putting their name as almost a registration to say that they've seen your piece. It's such a small proportion. It's kind of not even a statistic or a metric worth measuring. It's, for me, it's views to try and understand if your audience is in fact seeing it. But it's the comments that are the most important part of all of that, because people are stopping and willing to add their 2 pence worth to contribute to what social media is, which is a larger conversation.
Everything's about conversation.
The metrics have been really off the last couple of weeks, though. Have you found this with yours? Well, no, because you poll every day, so you're consistent.
No, my metrics are always absolutely through the roof. Look, at the end of the day, it's simple. It's very, really simple. It's all about the conversation. It's nothing about any other metric. Is completely ridiculous. And ultimately, if you are selling something, even if it's yourself, the only metric that counts is that you're actually making money, that you're actually doing business. That's it.
And the only reason you are ever going to do business from LinkedIn is if you follow up on those and offer an appointment. I cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
Because they assume that people are going to go, oh, I really liked your content, drop into your... If you've highlighted that somebody is of interest, you need to get on that inquiry soon. You need to start that conversation. You need to make it very clear that you want to have a chat with them. And don't be afraid to have what seem to be moderately pointless conversations, because although it's, that person may not be interested, you now have access to their network, they're more likely to refer you, but you have to start getting out there and making these Zoom appointments. You have to start meeting people.
Goes back to the good old days of sales, when you were actually going knocking on doors as opposed to doing it on social media. The principle's exactly the same. I used to see so many salespeople out there, and I've trained teams of salespeople who were really good at the patter, great at the patter, but they didn't know how to close a sale. If you don't know how to close a sale, you won't ever get a sale. Yeah. People might go, I really like him. I really like her. They're really good. Oh, they're lovely. Oh, they come round every week, have a cup of tea. Oh, I get on so well. But they never sell anything. They're useless. They're complete. Get rid of them. Get rid of those people out of your organisation. You don't want people like that.
I agree.
Light touch is essential at the start of a relationship, but absolutely right. But also,
are we talking professionally now or personally?
But you do need to know when to actually, if it's business related and you are trying to make sales, you do need to know when to actually say.
I feel like there's a line. You have to, when you're that type of person, I am that type of person that I will happily just have a coffee chat with people for weeks and interrupt them. But you almost have to establish a line of, this is as far as I will go. Oh, hello. This is as far as I would go personally to engage with this person, but always have a line where if you cross over said imaginary line, they then become a regular coffee chat and you'll never get something out of them. If they become too familiar, if it becomes too much of a friendly relationship, you will never be able to bring that round into making them a prospect, because then you'll be too afraid because they're a mate now, and now you can't give them a proposal, you can't follow up on business because you're worried more about them personally and how they perceive it, and then you start overthinking it. You have to have a boundary. I'm all for being personal and relatable and approachable to people, but you have to definitely set those boundaries. Otherwise, you're just getting friend zoned all the time, which as salespeople you don't want to do. We are all in fact salespeople because we've got something to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I may have been taking a slightly contentious and line there, and actually
may have.
Well, I was, and
don't
playing devil's advocate a little bit, but I think it's important that we bring both sides of the story together there. To quote a Phil Collins song, because it's important.
What a Phil Collins song were you attempting to quote from?
Both sides of the story.
Okay, not the clearest of quotations. In fact, not a direct quotation from the song.
Well,
I love that song. I love that song so much.
We started with Genesis, and I thought we'd bring a bit of Phil Collins into it.
I love that song. We listened to that on a near daily basis for a good period of, I don't know, like 3 weeks. I love that song. Do you get into that? Do you get into phases with songs where you just listen to the same song over and over, just whilst you glean all the gems from it and then you move on to something else? Or is it an album for you?
Well, do you know what? Oh, no, it would definitely be an album.
But you don't get stuck on one track that you just go for?
No.
Really?
No, definitely not.
All right. Explain.
Why? For me, if somebody has crafted, and look, if you like singles or if you like tracks, that's what these things are for.
Yeah.
Right. Other music listening devices are available.
I did wonder what you lifted up then until I realised what it was. I was like, it's a hockey pack? How is that helpful here?
Little hockey pack, as we like to call them, Echo Dots. That's what those things are for. That's what streaming's for. Or, that's what greatest hit albums are for. So that you get like the song and, the hit, and there is a time and a place for that. But in general, if an artist has spent the time to put together an album of material, I like to listen to that album, that body of work in a whole.
And I agree.
And especially some albums are you just have to have the whole experience.
And I agree, but there are only certain albums you can do that with. And I know you know that that's true, because there are certain songs where they are specifically, like it was clearly just one really long jamming session, and that one song follows into the next song. And if you listen to them out of turn, it doesn't make any sense. And I love albums like that, because you have to take the story and you have to enjoy the journey. What I don't like is albums where they've been written over a period of a few years, and so the reasons for them are sort of changed, and we just really like that one and we've got an album coming out, so we just put it on there. And I feel like some artists have lost that thread that you should be putting through, that there should be a common theme, and it will just be a collection of songs. So there's a difference between an album for listening purposes and then just a random medley of songs.
Oh, yeah,
and they really frustrate me. Those ones really frustrate me.
Look, there's a lot of artists that literally write a collection of singles and put them together on an album.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And therefore, with artists like that, I guess you know, but those are artists. Yeah, yes. Concept albums. That is absolutely the word.
Yeah. And I was waiting for you to say it. So
we love concept albums, don't we, Christina? But at the end of the day, I tend not to listen to singles based albums. I tend to listen to albums that are albums. So yeah, if I put one on, I will listen to the whole thing through. Also, actually, that's not true. Even if it is someone that writes more in the way of singles, or they've put several EPs together and there's not a completely coherent fit in there, I just feel that, you're giving of your time to that artist. And I like that, because I know from being a musician and being in the studio and what blood, sweat and tears goes into actually producing that. Most people think that music grows on trees.
I don't think they do.
Yes, they do. It used to be that people said the saying was money grows on trees. People actually realise that money doesn't grow on trees anymore. But do people? Yes, Ray. Absolutely. You had to respect it. That's exactly what it is. Exactly.
Having it back. All right.
Yeah, I'm having it back because that's fantastic. But that's the whole point. It's a respect of the fact that someone has actually laboured over that. Because some of these albums may have taken 2 or 3 years to write and put together and produce.
I just think and I agree. But there are certain musicians who do that incredibly well. And what I like is it doesn't even necessarily have to be that whole one track finishes and introduces itself automatically to the other ones. It's where you can see that this is a snapshot of their life at the time. They're the really interesting ones where you can see, like, okay, I don't particularly like Adele's new album. I don't care what people think. I don't like it. But you can tell that there's a very clear thread of going through a difficult time and the personal aspects of how her life has changed in the last couple of years and that sort of thing. And again, it's that kind of, I like it when you can see a common theme, or something that holds it all together. That I think that needs to happen. Oh, Rory, do you wish you had one in a garden?
You see, music doesn't grow on trees, does it, sir? No, music doesn't. But
it's written under it.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
Bit of poetry.
Yeah, I guess my favourite albums are probably those that really do. Probably concept albums, and they are probably those that pull it together, or they are ones that make you feel like you are somewhere or are going through an experience with that person through that time. Yeah, so even if the songs don't necessarily blend together,
What I really hate is also those albums where you do feel like they were a music churn, where you do feel like they were like, we haven't done one in a couple of years, let's just bang out, and they've all got the same sort of melody, or the ones that really annoy me at the moment, and that's why I quite like your recommendations, is those ones that you don't even need to have heard the song, and you'll know exactly what I'm going to say. That they start a sentence and you already know how that sentence is going to finish because they've clearly taken either rhyming inspiration from another album or they've listened to another song that you can tell was influenced. And you don't even need to know that song inside out. You can guess the next line. And I hate music like that. It just feels lazy. So there's a few people that I've been listening to, like Bright Eyes and a couple of other bands like that, where they come from such a completely different angle, or even, you know, Emmy the Great. And you're listening to them and you have no idea what's going to come out of that person's mouth next. And they're really quite special because I feel like a lot of music is just regurgitated. It's, you know, samples woven into slightly different tracks and that sort of thing. And it really, really irritates me.
Oh, yes. Oh, look. Christina's sharing her Bandcamp. Thank you very much, Christina. We're going to have a look there. Being Alive is Beautiful. That's a beautiful name, isn't it? Being Alive is Beautiful. I'm going to check that out straight afterwards. Thank you very much indeed. I've actually got a couple of tracks on Bandcamp.
Have you now?
Go and find it. Yeah, they are banging.
Claire says you're not allowed to say that anymore. Apparently it's a generational thing. Claire Palmer at the event yesterday said her kids told us you're not allowed to say that anymore.
Are you not allowed to say it?
Apparently you can't say it's banging.
But
there are certain terms that I try and interweave that I should be able to get away with, and I don't know if it's the accent or just the type of person I am, but I can't get away with them.
But you know, the one song that we really love, it's not that.
Just when I thought the caffeine was wearing off, we were having a serious conversation.
I think we've had plenty of serious conversations today alongside everything else. There you go. I think we're almost ready to wrap up for another week. Oh, let's see. We've got yet another comment. Oh, it's sarcasm. Yeah. Being alive is beautiful. I see. It's sarcasm. But it sounds beautiful at the same time. So it's a beautiful sarcasm. There we go. So yeah, today what we've covered music, albums. We've covered a little bit about marketing because, you know, that is what we do. What else did we cover? We did the pigeon view, and today there was no pigeons, but there were birds of a different kind outside the window. It was at that point that Odessa started to worry. Yes,
I'm always in a state of worry. Let me just say that now, is that whenever I come on these live shows, I enter the StreamYard with a certain level of panic and fear.
Absolutely.
What the hell is going to happen during the course of the show?
You see, the thing is, Rory, is that what's happened is that StreamYard keep adding additional. This is the people that do the platform that we're broadcasting on. They keep adding additional toys, which, as anyone will know, if you give toys to boys, then they will play with them. And today's new toy was the fact that you could do this music beds.
Please make it stop.
I can make it stop. There we go.
Oh, thanks, Rory.
Have a legend of a weekend yourself, sir. Need to go. Yeah. Rock on, Christina. Well done. Thank you very much. Oh, it's lovely. So yeah, join us again this time next week when we're doing much of the same. If you like it, then good. Tell your friends. If you don't like it, then don't come again. It's as simple as that, really. But we are who we are. We do what we do. You can find us on LinkedIn and connect with us if you like it. What?
Just
what?
Sometimes there are just no words, Graham. There are just no words.
What? It's absolutely right. You know,
okay.
In my mind, we're on Multicolored Swap Shop from years ago. Yeah.
Again, generational chasm here.
Yeah.
Do we need to explain? Have you got time before we end, or is this something for next week?
I can't work out which person I am though. Maybe I'm Cheggers, and you're Noel Edmonds. I don't know.
I don't want to be Noel Edmonds. I know. I don't even need to know the show. I know I don't want to be Noel Edmonds.
I'll be Noel Edmonds. You can be Cheggers then.
I'll be anything other than Noel, please.
Nothing wrong with Noel.
Other annoying TV presenters are available. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil. You just come in right at the right time.
Just at the end. But I will see you next week. Phil.
But yeah, see you next week, Phil. And you can.
No, you're not coming. You're not going to come in on a dog walk.
Oh,
You're not invited.
you can watch right from the start if you like.
If you would like to be traumatized in your own time now, as part of a piece of homework.
We will see you all next week, same time, same place. Love you loads. Bye for now.